You know what? When most people hear the name Bruce Lee, what usually pops into their heads is that flying kick, screaming kung fu superstar from the movies. But what if I told you that this guy, who seemed to only speak with his fists, was actually one of the most profound philosophers of the 20th century? Even more mind-blowing is that his famous "be like water" wasn't just some cool catchphrase. It's actually a complete life philosophy system. That might be more practical than any leadership theory you'd learn in an MBA program. Today, I'm taking you deep into Bruce Lee's hidden philosophical world, and this story is going to completely flip your understanding of this legendary figure. Hey everyone, welcome to Zen Go. From lost college kid to philosophical warrior, let's rewind to 1960s, University of Washington. Picture this, a young guy fresh off the boat from Hong Kong, struggling with English, completely confused about his future. That was Bruce Lee back then, your typical Asian immigrant student who had absolutely no clue what he wanted to major in. But then came the turning point. One professor showed up and completely changed the trajectory of his life. This professor didn't just teach knowledge. More importantly, he told Bruce Lee something that would stick with him forever. Everyone has the right to design their own future. Sounds simple, right? But for a young man caught between two cultures, trying to survive in this cultural no man's land, this was like a lightning bolt of clarity. Bruce Lee started systematically studying philosophy, and that decision ultimately gave birth to the legend we know today. You know what the most interesting part is? Bruce Lee wasn't one of those ivory tower academics, pondering abstract concepts. He treated philosophy as a practical tool, a way to understand himself and the world around him. This approach is actually super common in Silicon Valley today, taking complex theories and turning them into actionable methodologies. In many ways, Bruce Lee was like the Steve Jobs of philosophy. Both believed in the profound power behind simplicity, the ultimate showdown, East versus West philosophy. Now, let's talk about a fascinating contrast. Western philosophy, going all the way back to ancient Greece, is essentially about humans versus nature. We worship scientists who discover natural laws. We celebrate inventors who conquer natural forces. This mindset shaped all of Western civilization. We want to understand the world, control the world, improve the world. But Eastern philosophy, it's a completely different game. The core of Eastern wisdom is about humans versus humans, not physical combat, but psychological, emotional, and social navigation. That's why ancient Chinese sages were more focused on knowing people, how to navigate complex relationships, how to maintain inner balance when everything around you is constantly changing. Bruce Lee's genius was that he didn't pick sides. He saw the limitations of both philosophical systems and created a third path. It's like today's AI field. The most breakthrough innovations often come from combining different approaches rather than stubbornly sticking to a single methodology. The revolutionary thinking behind Be Water. Now we get to the heart of the whole story, that philosophical concept that made Bruce Lee immortal. When he said, "Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water," in that 1971 TV interview, he wasn't just describing some martial arts technique. He was laying out a revolutionary life philosophy. Let's break down the genius of this metaphor. Water seems like the weakest element. It has no fixed shape, no color of its own, doesn't even have taste. But at the same time, water is the most powerful force. It can penetrate any material, adapt to any container, gently nourish life, or destroy everything in its path like a tsunami. This concept has incredible relevance in today's business world. Think about the most successful companies. Apple, Google, Amazon. They all embody water's characteristics. They don't rigidly stick to one business model. They're constantly adapting, constantly evolving. When the market changes, they change shape. When opportunities appear, they flow toward them. But when they decide to attack a market, their force is absolutely devastating. Modern lessons from style-free fighting. Bruce Lee had another controversial take. He was against the whole martial arts school system. He said, "I don't believe in Chinese fighting or Japanese fighting because unless humans have 3 arms and 4 legs, fighting is just fighting." This insight seems almost prophetic today. We live in an increasingly connected world where traditional boundaries are dissolving. In the tech industry, we don't say this is American innovation or this is the Chinese approach anymore. We say this is an effective solution. The best products and services combine best practices from all over the globe. Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune wasn't a new style. It was a philosophy. Absorb what's useful, discard what's not, add what's uniquely your own. Isn't that the essence of modern entrepreneurship? Not blindly copying someone else's success, not arrogantly sticking to your original ideas, but intelligently combining various elements to create something uniquely powerful. The ultimate challenge of authentic self-expression. But Bruce Lee's most profound philosophical contribution might be his thoughts on authenticity. He said, "The ultimate aim of martial arts is the honest expression of oneself." This is very difficult to do. I can easily put on a show and be cocky. I can do some fancy moves to hide myself. But to honestly express yourself, my friend, that is very hard to do. In the social media age, this message becomes even more relevant. We live in a world of curated reality, where everyone's projecting a perfect image. But Bruce Lee recognized this trap decades ago. True strength doesn't come from pretending to be someone else. It comes from courageously being yourself. What does this require? It requires constant training, developing your muscle memory, so your actions spontaneously reflect your true intentions. In business terms, this is alignment. Your values, your decisions, your actions must be completely consistent. No hesitation, no internal conflict, complete integration. Cross-cultural identity crisis. Bruce Lee also faced a challenge that many of us today can relate to: identity crisis. In an interview, he was asked, "Do you consider yourself Chinese or American?" His answer was brilliant. "I consider myself a human being. Under the same sky, we're all one big family. We just happen to have some differences." This perspective is especially powerful in today's globalized world. We don't need to choose a single identity. We can embrace our complexity. In the tech industry, the most innovative solutions often come from people who can bridge different cultures, different disciplines, different perspectives. Bruce Lee was exactly that kind of bridge. He brought Eastern wisdom to the Western world, while using Western methodology to refine Eastern practices, from ancient wisdom to future innovation. So what does all this mean for us today? Bruce Lee's philosophy isn't some museum piece. These are living principles that can be applied to the modern challenges we face. In the AI era, we need to be adaptive like water. When technology changes, we need to quickly adjust our strategies. When new opportunities emerge, we need to fluidly move toward them. At the same time, we need to maintain our core essence. Just like water is still water no matter what container it's in, we should keep our fundamental values and principles no matter what environment we're in. That's real strength, being both flexible and consistent, both adaptive and authentic. Bruce Lee proved a powerful truth. The most profound innovations often come from combining seemingly contradictory elements, Eastern and Western, ancient and modern, spiritual and practical, gentle and powerful. In an increasingly complex world, we need this kind of integrative thinking more than ever. Wrapping up, Bruce Lee left us more than just spectacular movies or impressive physical abilities. He left us a way of thinking, an approach to life that combines wisdom with action, reflection with innovation, tradition with progress. He showed us that true mastery isn't about rigidly following rules. It's about developing the flexibility to adapt while maintaining your core integrity. He proved that philosophy isn't some abstract academic exercise. It's a practical tool for navigating life's complexities. So next time you're facing tough decisions, remember Bruce Lee's wisdom. Be like water. Assess the situation, adapt your approach, but never compromise your essential nature. Flow around obstacles instead of smashing into them. Be gentle when appropriate. Be forceful when necessary, but always be authentically yourself. If this video gave you some new perspectives on how to approach your own challenges, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the Zen Go channel. We'll keep exploring wisdom traditions that can inspire and empower you. Remember, the most powerful philosophy doesn't tell you what to think. It teaches you how to think. Keep flowing, keep growing, and we'll see you next time.